Aria Collins was 24 years old when her mother walked into the place she worked and humiliated her in front of strangers. It was a busy Sunday brunch at the Maplewood Grill, and Aria was carrying a tray of glasses when she heard a familiar voice say loudly, "Oh, it's you. We didn't know you still worked here. How embarrassing for us." Valerie Collins stood there in pearls and a perfect smile, her younger daughter Lily, recording everything on her phone. 6 tables went quiet. A couple paused mid-bite. Aria stood frozen, menus in hand, pretending she wasn't shaking. Instead of breaking, Aria smiled. "Welcome to Maplewood Grill," she said calmly, placing the menus on the table. Lily giggled like she was watching a comedy skit. Valerie raised an eyebrow, scanning Aria's apron and worn black shoes. The nearby diners watched in uncomfortable silence. Aria felt their eyes, their pity, their curiosity. She had lived through years of this. Small cuts, quiet insults, and a mother who only saw flaws when she looked at her. But something inside her shifted. Today would not be another painful memory she swallowed quietly. Today she was done being silent. Standing there, Aria remembered how all of this began. 4 years earlier, the day her life should have changed. She had stood in the kitchen holding an envelope with her name in bold letters. Aria Collins. Inside was her acceptance to Hillsworth University on full academic merit. Heart racing, she ran to the living room where Valerie was laughing loudly on the phone. Streamers, balloons, and a huge banner reading "Congrats Lily" filled the space. Lily had been accepted into a regular state school, nothing special, but the celebration looked like a national holiday. "Mom," Aria said softly, holding up the envelope, "I got in. Full scholarship. Hillsworth University." Valerie glanced at her, barely interested, and pressed a hand over the phone speaker. "That's nice, honey. But I can't pay for 2 girls in college. Lily needs support, housing, meal plan, transportation. You're resourceful. You'll figure it out." Then she went back to laughing with her sister, never asking to see the letter. That evening, Lily received a new silver car with a giant red bow. Aria received a bus schedule taped to the fridge. No speech. No celebration. Just expectation. Aria didn't cry. She sat at her small desk that night, opening her laptop and searching for jobs that fit around a full-time class schedule. She remembered the cold look Valerie often gave her. The same look she'd used since Aria was 14, the year Aria's father walked out without a note. "You're just like him," Valerie always said. No explanation. No comfort. Just blame. While Lily enjoyed vacations, new outfits, and birthday trips, Aria learned to work quietly. By the end of the week she had 3 interviews. By Monday morning she was hired at Maplewood Grill. Maplewood Grill became Aria's second home. She balanced classes, double shifts, and long bus rides without ever complaining. While Lily posted photos from beach trips and weekend getaways, Aria memorized wine pairings and learned how to carry 3 plates in one hand. Most nights she studied until her eyes burned. Her professors praised her, classmates admired her discipline, but at home Valerie barely noticed. If Aria mentioned an award or achievement, Valerie would shrug and say, "That's good, dear. But Lily needs help picking out her outfits for her trip." Aria learned to keep her pride quiet. Still, Aria excelled. In her second year she maintained a 3.9 GPA while working nearly 40 hours a week. She joined a research team under Professor Adams, who often said, "Aria, you see numbers differently. You've got a mind for finance." Aria would smile softly, grateful for someone who finally saw her potential. At the same time, Valerie began telling relatives that Aria had lost interest in school. Aria overheard her once on the phone saying, "She prefers working. She's always been independent." It stung, but Aria stayed quiet. Silence kept the peace even if it hurt. One Thanksgiving, Aria managed to get the day off and visited home with hopeful excitement. Maybe just once Valerie would notice her progress. But as she stood in the hallway, she overheard her mother whispering to Aunt Linda in the kitchen. "Aria dropped out," Valerie said. "She couldn't handle the pressure." Aunt Linda sighed sadly. Such a waste. She was bright as a child. Aria felt the words hit her like cold water. She left the house before dessert, claiming she had an early shift. No one asked why she looked pale. No one asked anything at all. For 4 years, Aria lived 2 lives. One where she worked endlessly and studied harder than anyone around her, and another where her family believed she had given up and chosen an easy path. The truth felt invisible, buried under Valerie's stories and Lily's perfect image. But everything changed one afternoon in the break room at Maplewood Grill. The room smelled like coffee and fryer oil. Aria's phone buzzed. She unlocked it casually, expecting another school notice. Instead, she saw the subject line that froze her heartbeat. Offer of employment, Brighton and Company. Financial consulting. Her hands trembled as she opened the email. Dear Ms. Collins, we are pleased to offer you the position of junior financial analyst. She read the salary twice, then a third time. It was more money than she had earned in 4 years of tips combined. She pressed a hand over her mouth, overwhelmed. She had applied months ago, never expecting a reply. Brighton and Company hired from top universities. Harvard, Princeton, students with perfect resumes. Yet they chose her. Aria screenshot the letter and whispered, "I did it." Her future had just shifted and she knew it. Aria didn't know who to tell first, but instinctively she dialed Mr. Harper, her manager. He answered on the second ring. "Aria? Everything okay?" She could barely breathe. "I got the job," she whispered. "Brighton and Company chose me." Silence filled the line before he said warmly, "Aria, that's incredible. You earned every bit of it." She felt tears prick her eyes. "My start date is Monday." Mr. Harper cleared his throat. "Then that means your last day here will be Sunday." He paused meaningfully. "We'll make it a good one." Aria nodded, smiling through tears. As she hung up, a strange memory surfaced. Lily's Instagram story from 3 months earlier. Lily had posted a screenshot of an application confirmation page but had cropped out the company's name. Caption read, "Big things coming." Aria remembered the layout. It was the same application portal Brighton and Company used. But Lily never posted a follow-up. No job announcement. No celebration. The silence had felt odd then, but now it made sense. Did Lily apply to the same company? Aria wondered. And if so, had she been rejected? The thought lingered in her mind like a puzzle piece finally snapping into place. That night, Aria sat on her old couch, staring at the ceiling. She realized how much silence had cost her. She had been quiet when Valerie forgot her birthday. Quiet when Lily posted family photos from vacations Aria hadn't been invited to. Quiet when relatives asked why she preferred working over school. Quiet when it hurt the most. But now, with her future finally opening, she wondered whether staying silent was still protecting her, or holding her prisoner. She whispered to herself, "I won't start my new life carrying the same weight." Something inside her felt lighter for the first time in years. Aria made a plan. Sunday would be her last day at Maplewood Grill and she would work it with dignity. No drama. No arguments. No begging for approval. She printed the offer letter at the university library the next morning, folded it gently and slid it into her work bag. Just in case. She didn't expect to need it, but she felt safer knowing it was there. What Aria didn't know was that Valerie and Lily were already plotting something of their own. Something that would bring them straight into her section at the worst possible moment. The first sign came on Tuesday afternoon. Aria was walking home from class when her phone buzzed. For a second she thought it was Jenna. But it was Valerie. They rarely spoke. Aria hesitated before answering. "Hello." Valerie's voice was unusually sweet. "Aria dear. I was thinking, maybe we could have brunch together on Sunday. As a family." Aria nearly stopped walking. "I can't. I told you weeks ago I'm working that day." Valerie sighed dramatically. "You always have to work. It's like you avoid us." "I'm paying my bills," Aria replied calmly. Valerie snapped, "You sound just like your father." The air went cold and Aria knew something was wrong. Before Aria could respond, she heard a faint giggle in the background. Lily's voice, light and amused, like she was listening the entire time. "Mom, is Lily there?" Aria asked sharply. Valerie hesitated. "What?" "No, well, she just walked in." Another soft laugh. Aria's stomach tightened. They were enjoying this. The guilt, the pressure, the emotional push and pull. It was entertainment to them. Aria closed her eyes and exhaled. "I have to go," she said quietly. Valerie responded, "A real daughter would make time for her mother." Aria answered calmly, "A real mother would understand why I can't." And she ended the call. 40 minutes later, Aria's phone buzzed again. This time it was Lily. The text read, "Mom's really hurt. You should apologize." Arya stared at the screen, unmoving. Then 3 dots appeared, Lily typing again. "By the way, I heard your restaurant has the best brunch. Maybe we'll come visit." Arya felt her chest tighten. This wasn't an idea. It was a warning. A threat dressed as a cheerful message. She opened Instagram and found Lily's latest story. A boomerang of champagne glasses clinking. Caption: Mother's Day plans. Can't wait to try this new brunch spot. The location tag? Maplewood Grill. Arya's workplace. Panic rushed through Arya and she immediately called Jenna. Jenna answered mid-chew, her voice muffled. "Hey, what's up?" Arya's words tumbled out. "They're coming. My mom and Lily, they tagged the restaurant. They're planning something." Jenna didn't hesitate. "Oh no. Do you want me to switch sections with you? I'll take East Side." Arya took a breath. "No." Her voice came out stronger than she expected. "I'm done hiding." A long pause followed, then Jenna said softly, "Are you sure?" Arya looked at her reflection in a store window, tired but determined. "Yeah," she said. "I'm sure." Jenna exhaled. "Then I've got your back." That night Arya couldn't sleep. She ironed her uniform twice, every crease perfect. Her black button-up, her apron, her hair tied neatly. If she was going to face them, she would do it with dignity. At midnight she opened her bag and unfolded her Brighton and Company offer letter. "Dear Miss Collins," she whispered. The words still felt unreal. This was her new beginning. Not Arya the waitress. Not Arya the forgotten daughter. Just Arya. Intelligent, hardworking, stronger than anyone believed. Before bed she wrote 2 short lists. Things I won't do tomorrow. Cry, yell, apologize, break. Things I want. Truth, peace, closure. At 6 a.m. her phone buzzed. A text from Mr. Harper. "Big day. Whatever happens, I'm proud of you. And remember, automatic gratuity for bills over $200. Arya smiled. Felt like a small shield. 10 minutes later she received a notification from Instagram. Lily had posted a photo. Full makeup, perfect hair, designer dress. Caption: "Ready to make some memories today." Already dozens of likes. None of those people knew what Lily was planning. Arya tied her apron, looked at herself in the mirror and whispered, "Today's the day." Then she grabbed her bag with the offer letter tucked inside and stepped out the door. By 7 a.m. Maplewood Grill was already buzzing. Mother's Day brunch was their busiest day of the year. Servers were rushing between tables, cooks were shouting orders, and the smell of maple syrup, bacon and fresh bread filled the air. Arya clocked in early and placed her bag, with the offer letter tucked safely inside, into her locker. She took a deep breath. This was her last day. Jenna found her near the coffee station. "You good?" she asked softly. Arya nodded. "I'm okay." Jenna lowered her voice. "If you want me to film anything for insurance, just wink." Arya almost laughed. Before Arya could respond, Mr. Harper called for a team meeting. 12 servers gathered near the host's stand, all looking tense but excited. Mr. Harper straightened his vest and said, "Today will be intense, but remember 2 things. 1. Parties with bills over $200 get an automatic 20% gratuity. No exceptions. 2. If anyone disrespects you, come to me immediately." His eyes landed on Arya for a brief moment, full of unspoken reassurance. "We treat our staff with respect here. Anyone who can't do the same can eat somewhere else." The group scattered, energized. Arya checked the reservation list, and froze. There it was in black ink. Collins, party of 2, 10:30 a.m., Section 3. Her section. Of course. Arya looked up and saw the parking lot beginning to fill. Families stepped out of cars holding flowers, cards and gift bags. Somewhere out there, Valerie was probably putting on lipstick, ready for a performance. Arya steadied her breath and reminded herself, "This is my last day. My future has already started." The first 2 hours passed smoothly. Table 10 was a tired mother with 3 messy children. Table 12 was an elderly couple celebrating 50 years of marriage. Mr. and Mrs. Dalton, the elderly couple, were Arya's favorite. Mr. Dalton held his wife's hand as he said, "She's been the best mother for 48 years and the best wife for all 50. Mrs. Dalton blushed. "Oh, Harold, stop." "Never," he replied. Their affection made something warm and painful twist in Arya's chest. This was what family was supposed to look like. Gentle, kind, steady. Not like Valerie's cold performances, not like Lily's shallow giggles. As Arya refilled a coffee cup, Jenna suddenly appeared behind her, gripping her shoulder. "Arya," she whispered urgently. "They're here." Arya's heart dropped. She set the coffee pot down carefully and straightened her apron. "Where?" she asked. "Front door," Jenna whispered. "The hostess is seating them now." Through the crowd, Arya caught a glimpse. Valerie in a cream-colored wrap dress, pearls glowing against her skin. Lily in a bright pink sundress, phone already raised as if she were filming a grand entrance. The hostess led them toward Section 3, Arya's section. Arya swallowed hard, grabbed 2 menus, checked her reflection in the window and forced her shoulders back. "Let's do this," she said quietly and walked toward them. The walk to their table felt painfully slow. Arya passed families laughing over pancakes, toddlers waving crayons, couples sharing quiet conversations. None of them knew what was about to unfold. When she reached table 8, Valerie looked up with a practiced smile, before her eyes dragged slowly down Arya's uniform. The smile disappeared. Valerie tilted her head as if examining something disappointing. Lily lowered her phone slightly, waiting for the moment to strike. Arya swallowed, lifted her chin and said politely, "Good morning. Welcome to Maplewood Grill." Her voice sounded steady. Her hands, however, were trembling behind the menus. Valerie didn't bother hiding her disdain. "Oh," she said loudly, "it's you." Her voice carried across 3 tables. People looked up from their plates. She continued, "We didn't realize you were still working here." She let the word "here" drip with disgust. "How embarrassing for us." Lily burst into laughter, raising her phone again. "Mom, you're terrible," she giggled, angling the camera so Arya's uniform was clearly visible. The restaurant's hum softened. Forks paused. A woman at a nearby table frowned in sympathy. Arya felt heat crawl up her neck, but she refused to step back. "Not today." Lily leaned closer to her phone, speaking to her viewers. "Everybody, look who we found, my sister. She's our waitress today. Isn't that hilarious?" Valerie nodded approvingly. "I warned her years ago," she announced loudly, "get a real job." But she never listens. Just like her father. The comparisons stung, but Arya kept her expression steady. Lily added, "At least we know where our tax money goes." They laughed together, mother and daughter, united in cruelty. The surrounding tables looked uncomfortable, but no one spoke. Arya stood still, menus pressed to her chest, fighting the urge to run. For 4 years, Arya had walked away from moments like this, swallowing insults, letting lies spread, pretending words didn't bruise. But something inside her broke open. She looked at Valerie, then at Lily, then at the phone recording her humiliation. She remembered the offer letter in her locker. She remembered every night she'd cried quietly, every shift she'd survived, every exam she'd passed alone. And for the first time in her life she felt something stronger than fear. Certainty. She took a slow breath, let her hands fall to her sides and said calmly, "Actually, I have an announcement." Valerie's smile faded. "What announcement?" she demanded. Arya didn't raise her voice. She simply spoke clearly enough for surrounding tables to hear. "Today is my last day here." A ripple of curiosity swept across the room. Arya continued, "And starting tomorrow, I'll be working as a junior financial analyst at Brighton and Company." Lily's phone wobbled. Valerie blinked hard, confused. A man at the next table murmured, "Brighton? That's top tier." A woman began clapping softly, then others joined. Arya kept her eyes on Valerie. "So yes," she added calmly, "I still work here, but not for long." Valerie's face flushed. "You're lying," she snapped. "You didn't even finish school." Arya reached into her apron and pulled out the neatly folded offer letter. "I did finish," she said softly. 4 years of full-time classes. A 3.9 GPA. Published research. You just never asked." She handed the letter to Mr. Dalton, who had stood to examine it with his glasses. He read aloud, "Effective immediately. Junior analyst. Brighton and Company." He looked at Valerie with disappointment. "Ma'am, your daughter is impressive. You should be proud." The whispering around them turned into a wave of disapproval directed at Valerie. Lily's phone buzzed nonstop. She finally glanced at the screen, and her face drained of color. "Mom," she whispered, "the live stream. People are calling us bullies. They're tagging news pages. Mom, they're reposting everything." Valerie stiffened. "Turn it off," she hissed. Lily frantically tapped her screen but groaned. "It already uploaded. It's everywhere." All around them, diners scrolled their phones, whispering things like, "What kind of mother does that?" and "Unbelievable." Valerie looked trapped, her carefully crafted reputation crumbling in real time. For once she seemed smaller than the room, swallowed by her own choices. Mr. Harper approached the table then, posture firm. "Ma'am," he said to Valerie, "I've been observing this entire interaction. Your behavior toward my employee is unacceptable." Valerie sputtered. "She embarrassed us." Mr. Harper shook his head. "No. She defended herself. And she did it professionally." He turned to Arya. "You're free to step away if you want." But Arya shook her head gently. "I'm fine." She faced her mother. "You came here to shame me. Instead you revealed yourself." Valerie's eyes brimmed with angry tears. "I raised you," she said bitterly. Arya answered, "You raised Lily." "I raised myself." The bill arrived and Valerie grabbed the folder, ready to escape until she saw the total. Her voice cracked. "Why is this so high?" Arya answered calmly, "You ordered the most expensive items. And remember, automatic gratuity for bills over $200. Valerie's card declined. Then the backup card. Then the third one. Lily covered her face in humiliation. Mr. Harper stepped forward. "Given the disrespect shown today," he said evenly, "we require cash only." A few diners gasped. Valerie whispered, "I don't have that much cash." Arya looked at her quietly, then pulled out her tip envelope. "I'll cover it," she said softly. "But this is the last thing I ever do for you." Valerie stood slowly. She didn't argue this time. She didn't shout. She simply collected her bag and walked out of the restaurant with Lily trailing behind her, mascara streaked, phone dark. Neither looked back. When the door closed behind them, the restaurant exhaled. Mrs. Dalton hugged Arya gently. "You handled that with grace," she whispered. Jenna squeezed her hand. Mr. Harper said, "Brighton and Company is lucky to have you." And for the first time in her life, Arya believed it. She clocked out one last time, stepped into the fresh afternoon air and smiled. Her past no longer defined her. Her future, finally, belonged to her.